Hey folks, Keen here, and welcome to Let's Play Pharaoh. This is Pharaoh with the Queen in the Nile, Cleopatra expansion in here, and this is one of my favorite city building games of all times. Really, this whole series. So, this was a series of city builders. Oh, you'll have to excuse me. You're going to see my desktop for a second here as I tab in and out of this game. There we are. This is a series of city builders, just known as the city building series. That was actually made by 3 companies over time, but was effectively all made by the same people. And that includes the Caesar games, which are great, the Pharaoh game, and the Zeus game, which all use the same sort of engine in terms of gameplay. I think Caesar 4 introduced a 3D engine, or actually the Immortal Cities Children of the Nile had a 3D engine at that point. But it was very similar to Pharaoh in many, many ways. And I think Caesar 4 also used the 3D engine. There's also, it's worth noting, another game called Civ City Rome, which I have, that is very, very similar to playing something like Caesar. And it was actually developed by Firefly and Firaxis, so that's what the whole sort of like Civ thing, like some civilization type of themes. Hey, Mind Twist 3D, thank you very much for subscribing. And I just realized that my little subscriber box pop-up is not on the screen, so I apologize for that it's not visible for everyone to see. But yeah, so I have this. I've tried to make a video from this before because I actually thought the game was pretty decent, but it was a little crashy. That may have just been a recording thing, but keep an eye on that. I believe most of these are going to be available on Steam. I know that Children of the Nile is available on Steam, and Civ City Rome is as well. And you can see I didn't end up playing a whole lot on this build because it was kind of crashy here. I think I played it a long time ago, and like from a CD-ROM kind of thing. Same thing with the Children of the Nile here. I know I've played Children of the Nile, but not the Steam version. I picked them up when they came on sale on Steam, which they very, very frequently do. So, but we are going to go old school here with the Pharaoh game, which did come out after Caesar. And so had a little bit of extra stuff. The engine was the same. It's 2D art, obviously, and basically they just tweaked some things. Lots of different building types, lots of different resource types. So we're going to be, Quilzies is going to be our family, and we're going to play through the campaign. So you can just choose individual missions, including custom missions. I think there's just like, empty kind of sandboxy maps. Oh, I don't have my chat up. So let me bring that up here as everyone can see everything. Again, what keep happening to I keep losing my actual chat here. My bad, guys. That's not it. That's Cookie Clicker. There we go. Oh, because I'm clicking on it while I've got the other thing up. Okay. Boy, it's crazy having to do this in these old games with the desktop capture. There's technically a windowed mode, but it doesn't seem to work for me. So, here's our family. So we're going to proceed through as many missions until I get too tired here. We have to start in the pre-dynastic period, and it does start you off kind of slowly and tutorially, and then as you build up, you're going to have to deal with a lot more different types of goods, building pyramids and the Sphinx and massive, massive construction projects. So we're going to go ahead and start easy, and that's fine. So all the missions up here, all these sort of campaign bits up here from the base game, and then here's the Cleopatra expansion. And again, when you're playing a family history, you're supposed to go through chronologically here.
It is said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Major Band Geek asks, why don't we just play Cookie Clicker?
So may the story of a great nation begin with one dream. The Red Land has given birth to such a dream.
I like Egyptian history.
Bands
Cool.
of nomads carry it in their heart, across the immeasurable desert and into the land of Egypt.
Everything on the screen blinks multiple times. It tabs me out, because why not? Hey, now we're in the game. Alright, so objective on this level is to simply end up with 6 meager shanties. Very easy quest.
Here you'll participate in the history of one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever seen. In an epic story that spans more than 15 centuries and 24 generations.
I like the text. We're gonna skip past here. There's difficulty selection from very easy all the way to very hard. We'll leave it on normal because our goal is to sort of progress forward and see what it's like. So in this tutorial, we're learning about houses and roads. So here is the map that we are on here. So we've got a main road that is already in our city. I think one of these ends is where people will enter, and I'm not sure if it's from the south or from the north. There's ostriches here, which we will be hunting. And we've got some floodplains over here, which in this scenario won't come up, but this is how you feed most of your people, of course. This is the Nile that you're on. And what I like about these maps is water is a big thing. Like, here's desert. You can't build water sources, anything like that over here. And there's lots of things you can't build in the desert. And then anywhere there's green bits, you've got some amount of water access, and this area here represents floodplains. So during part of the year, the waters rise up and cover all this. So you can't build most buildings there. But then after that, the waters will recede, leaving rich soil behind that you can use for farming. So you build farms on all this stuff. But in this scenario, our goal is just to get some half-decent housing. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to like yank out a big strip of housing over here. So this will create single tile little huts. By default. And they can, this hut does technically count as having road access over here, but very quickly these things will start to combine together into larger houses. I don't think this is actually an optimal sort of structure for things, but we're just going to drag that out for simplicity now. And for the sake of things, I'm actually going to put a road on the other side at that point. The other thing we're going to need to do, okay, so the immigrants are arriving. They're arriving from the south. So people will come in. They will set up their little shanties. So I think our goal was, what, 6 large shanties? Meager shanties. But I don't think that that's the first thing they set up. I think they're going to set up basic little huts, and then we're going to have to get them enough nutrition to level up. Again, it's going to start us off very tutorially. Ooh, this actually set up a large crude hut right away. Because there's these...
Job here for anyone who wants one.
That's a crude hut. What's this one? Still counts as a crude hut? Room for 19? Interesting. Why would these guys build a big one? And so you'll see what happened here. These little huts, you quickly want them to come and turn into these 2x2 sized buildings. And so normally when you lay out your buildings, you actually want to keep that in mind so that you don't end up with these little strips of one buildings that will never merge into anything. You've got to be like kind of conscious with your placement. All right, so that's step 1. So we're watching our immigrants arrive. And I think it'll move on to step 2 very shortly. Maybe. We'll keep going. I could speed things up, but, you know, this way it's a little bit more casual. People were betting on which side the immigrant point comes in. I think it may depend on the map, but it is really good to know, because actually, if you know they come in from the south, start your housing to the south. That way they come into the houses a lot sooner, a lot faster. Like, we could set up some more. And so what I like to do is I'll set these in chunks of 4 like this. And then I'm going to set up another chunk of 4 on the other side. And what that does is and it's complaining that they don't have road access, but now they will. That way, they can only form the 2x2 houses properly, and then I can go and fill in the gaps afterwards with more 2x2 houses. And just make sure that things grow the way that I want them to grow. You do this sort of thing in SimCity sometimes. Because when you make a block, sometimes like the skyscraper will appear sort of in the middle of the block, as opposed to having like in a corner and then fitting it in. But there's actually even more reasons to do that in this game. We'll see what that is when we get to plazas and festival squares and really start to make the game look pretty. Because at first it's just all gonna be mud huts, right? It's gonna be pretty tragic. There we go. Now we're in the next phase of this mission, food or famine. So it's going to prompt us to start making some food. Food buildings bring the food to granaries, and then bazaars, people will work in bazaars, and they will collect the food from the granaries and bring them to the villagers, to the inhabitants of the town. So we're going to build first a granary. And now people don't actually like to live next to a granary, which is kind of unfortunate. But this might be a more slummy area. Oh, that bird's in the way. Okay, let's put it here. That'll be fine. And then we're going to put a hunting lodge right here near the ostriches. So we'll hunt the ostriches. And then what we'll do is get a bazaar going. And the people from the bazaar will walk along the roads. So they're going to start at the bazaar with a certain amount of food. And then what they're going to do is they're going to walk along the roads. And as they walk by a house, they will supply it with food. I really want to put it here. Someone go and kill that ostrich for me. But you can see, like, they build bows. Here they're practicing. And then they go and they hunt out the ostrich. They're going to shoot the ostrich, and then they're going to go and pick it up. And then they bring it to the hunter's lodge. Nope, I can build my bazaar. They bring it to the hunter's lodge, turn it into food, and then they bring it to the granary. So now we have 200 game meat in the granary right now. And then now we've got someone working at the bazaar. Poor access to workers. Oh, it just kicked in. And it's waiting here. It's waiting for food. So I think what will happen is, here we go. Someone from the granary, I believe, will deliver food to the bazaar. Let's take a look at this. I mean, if you've played Banished, if you're a fan of Banished, get yourself a copy of this game. This build is available on goodoldgames.com, GOG.com, which is a great site in general. And you should go and look there, and they've got all kinds of games. I believe they've got Caesar 3, they've got Pharaoh. Yeah. I think they've got Zeus as well. If you're more into the Greece thing, there's Zeus, which I believe has, like, I think the graphics in Zeus might be a little bit more appealing in a way, but it's certainly more of a cartoony thing. You've got gods walking around. There's a little bit more combat involved. There's combat in the later phase of the game on some maps in here, but not much. It's like you build guard towers, basically. So now we need to build a water supply. There's both wells and water supplies. So wells are crappy, water supplies are awesome, I think is the situation. Once up and running, a water supply will dispatch a water carrier to deliver buckets of water. Right. And we can go into further help. And there's tons of help. Like, if you bring this up, you can read, you can find out about all the buildings. And look, like, this is a list of different buildings we're seeing here. Well, and some people. But Academy, Alexandria's Library, Apothecary, Architect's Post, Bandstand, Barley Farm, Bazaar. Oh, scrolls too fast. Bent Pyramid, Booth, Brewery, Brick Pyramid, Bricklayers Guild, Brickworks, Bridge, building buttons, Burial Provisions, Caesarium, Carpenters Guild, Cattle Ranch, Chariot Maker, Chickpea Farm, Chief Overseer. Well, that's something else too. Like, it's ridiculous, this game. It's unbelievable. But I do want to actually compare. Go away. I want to compare the well to the water supply. Well, rudimentary water sources. Only the poorest neighborhoods will be satisfied with well access. For housing to develop into more stately structures, access to water supplies is required. Wells do not need road access, nor do they need employees. Wells must be placed on grassland, which indicates the presence of groundwater. They have a slight positive effect on desirability. And then they give you historical stuff. You know, actual historical information about wells. And then there's water supplies. Clean. They need road access and labor. So I guess that's one of the big differences. Then they have a custom water carrier that brings water to you. You don't have to go to some filthy well. You're going to get delivered bottles of water. So yeah, we'll build a water supply, maybe next to this bazaar. And so yeah, these people should roam around. If I go into the overlay here, do they not have a food overlay? We can get water information. So this will show me the houses and how much water they have. So no access to drinking water. But as we let the game go by and someone starts to bring goods out of the water supplies, they've got all their employees. This should, there's a water carrier. You see that? And as they walk by a house, boom, these things get maxed out. Look at that. Is that great or what? Boop, boop, boop. And then, if we just go back to the normal map, so now these buildings will become happier. So this has got plenty of food stored up. It's got 20 occupants, room for 8. It's not being visited by a tax collector. There's no crime. It needs food from the bazaar and desirable surroundings. So right now, it's whining that there's... So this is a sturdy hut we're actually looking at now, and it's whining that there's a crude hut nearby that's bringing down desirability. So ideally, you get all your crude huts to upgrade. Problem is, they're like... They're hating on each other. See, there we go. Crude hut here. It's got no food, which is why I think it's not evolving. But we just need overall desirability upgrades, which is not really going to be a thing in this scenario. But could be. I think that's a food carrier. Yeah, bazaar trader. So if we look, we'll see, like, so this place has got 10 meat. Let's see what happens after she goes by. Does it say what she's carrying? Oh, she's out of stuff. She's going back to the bazaar for more. Right, of course. If I just listen to what she's saying, then I would know what she's doing. Getting some more immigrants going. As the desirability goes up, more people will move in. We actually don't have a whole lot of food stored right now, so I think what we're going to do is set up a second hunt camp. Maybe side by side over here. Get more meat produced. Make sure we've got a surplus. And we may end up wanting to build a second bazaar. So as is what will happen, the bazaar and water carriers, they will sort of walk kind of randomly. They will sort of path around, walk by houses until they run out of goods, and then they'll just come back home. What you can do later on is there's a little roadblock access that you can put down. Now, when it comes to, like, okay, when this place produces meat, they will path directly to a granary somewhere to deposit the meat. So they will go to a specific destination. They don't wander. But when it comes to things like the water carriers, is they do just wander and happen to water houses that come nearby. And you can put up little roadblocks on the road, which will block these wanderers, and you can kind of zone people in. Because what can happen is people will sometimes end up going to the wrong place. The Nilometer, I don't know, the person who like measures the Nile says it'll be a perfect inundation this year. Good for us. So what I could do here is build like a second water supply right over here, and then put a roadblock behind them. That way the water carrier from this water supply will only ever go in this direction, or down, you know, but it will feed this area, whereas this water carrier would only go up here and feed that area. It prevents a sort of doubling up in one area while another area gets starved out. So there's a lot of like little fiddle-faddling you can do with that. Very cool. We might set up a second bazaar at this point. And I think I will. Because I think it might help accelerate the pace of our game a little bit. Maybe build some more housing as well. Should have built it in a slightly different spot here. I mean, ultimately this will work, but it's fine. We'll get some more immigrants coming in. I think we probably have a lot of unemployment, honestly. We produce or input enough food for about 2,800 people, so we're good there. We have enough food for 12 months right now. Current housing can hold 52 people. We got 24 newcomers. And I don't have all the overseer tabs right now. They're disabled. But you can get a lot of really intricate information about your city. It's possible. Oh, we got a fire. Oh, so we're going to have to build a fire department ASAP. Firehouse. So let's go for another pair. Yeah, I know. Here, we'll build one here. And we'll build one over here. Good fire coverage. But yeah, there's other overseers here. Can I load them up directly? No. House on fire, that's going to burn down. So if I go and check the overlays and I go to fire risk, I can see there's a pretty high fire risk all over the place. When I try to scroll to the left, it kind of messes up a little because it goes to my second monitor. But when the water carrier goes by, fire risk goes down. Actually, that might be a fireman. Yeah, I guess that's a fire marshal. So a fire marshal who walks by a building dramatically reduces the fire risk. So you want to have enough patrolling around so it's not a problem. They will also put out fires. But in the meantime, we end up being pretty screwed. Now, in this scenario, they don't unlock the fire person until there's an actual fire. So because it's meant to teach you, right? It's like, well, here's what happens if you don't build fire marshals. So, hey, maybe you want to make sure that you do this in your actual game when you're playing for real. Yay! All right, so we won. There we go, and we get some score. There's culture ratings, prosperity ratings, kingdom ratings, and so on and so forth, which we're not really going to see in the early games. But if we were playing an open-ended scenario, we'd have to mess with a lot of this. But I'm playing through the campaign because I haven't played this game in like 100 years. So it's, right, I guess our goal was, yeah, that. And what was I saying? I haven't played in forever, so I have to remind myself of that play. So our objective is 10 ordinary cottages, and we want to mine some gold for the palace's treasury. Let's go into the city. So this city has gold mines up here. Come on. Oh, I can't scroll anymore to the left. Oh, no, I can't. Good. All right. So it's got some gold over here so that we can mine that if we want. I'm going to start right away by plopping down a gold mine. So this is costing, what's the money? Like denibs, I think? Something like that. Or is that a star? So they have to be adjacent to gold, which is their one limiting factor here. I'm going to plop down tons of them just to get a really good industry going on. Does need road access, so we're going to go ahead and get ye road accessed. We'll go straight out that way, and then that way. And then we're going to connect you to the main highway. And then we're going to do some housing as well. So what I'll do is I'm going to set up the housing the way that I'm looking to do it right from the beginning. So I'm going to do these sort of offset blocks like this. And then put a road around that. So we'll hopefully get the bigger cottages right away. And you know, I don't think for these scenarios it's necessary to do that. But there's a lot of sort of like love that goes into these. And you can make some huge, beautiful cities. This is not like 1849 that I just reviewed the other day. This has big maps with lots of areas, and you can play for hours and hours and hours and hours on a single map. Where are my immigrants coming from? The south again? I wonder if they always come from the south. Might be the case. Still, I definitely want the town to be near my gold mines here. We're also going to set up a fire post right away, and we're going to set up a pair. We're going to have one there, and one Actually, we'll work inside this block. Actually, I'm going to go there because there's a reason we're going to want to do that at some point. I'm also, an architect's post is also handy. They will make sure that buildings are constructed in the same manner and don't just collapse. It will be an issue on this particular map if I don't do that. It's also very important in this scenario that we set up a village palace. People will bring gold from the gold mines to the village palace where it will convert into actual currency. So it's an easy way to make money if you have gold mines. Oh, it needs groundwater. It's got to be in a grassy area. Now, we could build it here, very close to the gold mines. No, it doesn't fit. But they also have tax collectors, so I guess we want it close to our town. So that'll have to be it. It's a pretty building. We're out of money. We're getting some emergency funds here to help us out. But we should start to turn a profit. We've got gold mines. We've got people to work the gold mines. We've got a palace. They will bring gold to the palace. You can see what happened here. These buildings will spawn these roamers. And so what they do is you put down the building, they spawn one of these people walk around until they find a house, and they hire the people in that house. Well, if they found a house full of unemployed people, and right now they're roaming to try to find one, is what's going to happen. They're going to keep roaming around until they finally get to the village, and then they can actually start to produce. These houses are already leveled up, so we're going to go ahead and put that down there. Actually, we can do that, and that as well. Oh, and over here as well. I really want these nice 2x2 houses. Yeah, there we go. And you can see in some areas near the palace actually sort of exudes a higher level of development. So instead of these dirt paths, well, they're still called roads, you have these paved roads that look very sexy. We can do more with them soon enough. Did we unlock anything else? Oh, we can get a water supply going on, which seems like a good idea, especially to reduce fire risk. We'll put it here. Oh, food. Yeah, food is good. Let's set up, that'll lower desirability. Let's go 2 away over here. And then, actually, we'll build a road that goes this way and connects up this way, perhaps. And then we're going to set up a pair of hunting lodges again. Right there. And we will need a bazaar, which I will set up here. That should cover pretty good. I haven't built a police station yet. We'll see. We'll wait to see if crime becomes a problem. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and build a police station right away. Especially near a palace. Our city needs more workers. Well, hopefully we're still getting immigrants, but we're going to go ahead and go into debt. We can go into debt by 5,000. Well, you know I'm going to build like crazy then. I'm going to leave a gap here because of reasons that will become obvious later. There we go. More room for immigrants. People are still filing into the town pretty easily. So you can see here we've got cartloads of gold being delivered to our palace. And every time they arrive, we'll make a chunk of money. We'll also make money by taxing people. However, right now, because all our people live in huts and things, the tax money is not going to be huge. Not visited by tax collector, not paying tax. They will. I think these are tax collectors. I might be wrong, actually. Yeah, we really don't have enough employees to work everything quite yet. But hopefully soon. I think what I'm going to do is actually build another chunk of housing. Sort of here. I positioned that wrong. Yeah. Here, we'll do that. So our goal right now is to turn a profit. Soon enough, they will unlock a new building type for us. Because our goal overall in this mission is to get 10 cottages, which we can't do until we can raise sort of land value enough. And as is, I mean, we can feed people, and we can water people, but that's not going to be quite enough to get them all the way. How's the water situation? These guys haven't gotten any yet. I think we probably need a second water carrier. Because we've got that. I don't think that's going to be enough, so let's go ahead and get a second water supply right over here. City still needs more workers. We got tons of immigrants. Hey, there we go. An Egyptian city cannot truly flourish without suitable places of worship in the form of religious temples and shrines. These should be located in the form of religious should be located close to the homes that they serve, and they must be dedicated to one of the 5 gods. Osiris, god of the Nile, Ra, god of the kingdom, Ta, god of craftsmen, Seth, god of destruction, and Bast, goddess of the home. Also, kitties. So, ooh, we got our first collapsed building over here. It was maybe not visited by an architect, which is ungood. Let's go and rebuild that right away. More building collapses, but I have architects. Are they not doing a very good job?
Everybody's friendly here. No one is
Oh wait, did I build a police station? No, architect's post. Hard at work. No downtime. Yeah, dead again. Hold on. Risk of damage. Very high. You know what? I think the architect just hasn't gone in that direction. Is the problem. He's off wandering in the city, which can definitely be an issue. Let's go and build another architect's post, maybe way at the end. Hey, entertainment! As your city becomes more advanced, some citizens can enjoy leisure time activities, such as taking a little entertainment. Wide assortment of entertainment is one of the hallmarks of a truly cultured city, but currently you can only provide entertainment in the form of jugglers. Not juggalos, though. That would be awful. Architect's post. So I'm going to build it there, just to keep my gold mines up and running. Oh, yeah, there's another collapse over there. God damn it! Stop collapsing! I need money, and that's going to be really hard if my gold mines keep falling over. And I'm paying $500 a piece to replace them. An extra architect. We might, I think I'm actually going to build a little string of housing. People already eat more food than they produce. Too few jobs. Oh, so unemployment is not a problem, except maybe reaching the work is an issue. Well, if people want more jobs, and we've got food problems, I think we will produce another hunting lodge. Alright, so we can now build booths and juggling schools. So booths are cool, because what we can do is do that. And what they do is they sort of like build a plaza around the roads. These have to be built on intersections. And what they do is they use up one tile next to the intersection where the juggler will actually stand and entertain people as they walk by. So, and it has to be on a sort of at least an L bend. So if we extend this road here, then we'll be able to put another booth right there. Now, we need jugglers, which means we need a juggling school. So we will put the juggling school right over here. So they will train jugglers every month, and the jugglers will go and work at these booths and entertain everyone who walks by. Now our city needs more workers. Well, and I think there's just like a radius problem. People are having a hard time getting from one business to another. And now by having houses nearby here, we should have a cheap set of labor for the mines. Which is good, because my mines keep collapsing, so we need a lot of extra labor. Oh, I can see my culture rating, prosperity rating, monument rating, and kingdom rating right over here. That's good to know. Alright, so now we're just prompted to raise city culture, which we were going to work on. And this shanty cannot upgrade because they don't have access. Well, this one needs food, but they were complaining about religious stuff. So we definitely get our temples up and running, which I think we can start building. So we'll build one temple to Bast, maybe at this end of town. But we'll also throw in a couple of shrines. One right over here. And one right over there. And we can check out the help for these. I think the temple people will wander. How does it work? Shrines are small monuments dedicated to a specific god. They do not need direct road access, but they do need to be within 2 spaces of a road to receive services from fire marshals and architects. They do not require labor, produce no walkers, hence they do not confer access to religion. Their main purpose is to appease the gods. Oh. Alright, temples and shrines do improve the property values of the neighborhood. And temples contribute to the city's culture rating. So the temple will throw out walkers. Sounds like some sort of zombie. Hey, we got 500 residents. So you can see here the... there we go. The religious satisfaction that people are getting. And these people have access to a single god only. Later on, it's very tricky. The hard part is to get the really high-rated buildings. You're going to need to supply them with, like, 3 different kinds of food, some booze, expensive clothes, pottery, and they're going to want to have access to, like, 5 gods, all 5 gods at the same time. And it's really hard to juggle that, but if you can pull that off, you get these like monstrously beautiful houses that pay a lot of taxes. Oh yeah, and you can shrink the control panel, which is actually pretty goddamn desirable. Yeah, because this is all dead space down here. Part of it is because it's meant to play at a few different resolutions. It supports a whole 3 different resolutions. I'm currently playing at 1024 by 768. You know, the good resolution back in the day. In the 4:3 ratio. You can see my jugglers have all gotten to the little booths. We currently have a culture rating of 10. Go us. And, oh, we've got some upgrades. Ordinary cottages. I believe we need 10 of these to win the scenario. So that's going well. We just need to make sure everyone else keeps leveling. Needs a supply of food. So it's mostly complaining about the fact that the bazaar is not getting there enough. So I think what we need is a second one. A second bazaar, which we'll put at the opposite end of town. I think that'll go a long way. Quill, why don't you set housing areas near water sources with wells behind them? Well, I don't think we'd want to build wells at all. I think we can do just fine without any wells whatsoever. But it's an interesting point. And one of the things you can do, some people I think may build blocks, instead of this sort of like 4 tile wide sort of blocks that I do here, which allows you to have 2 big buildings next to each other. Some people may go for something like I guess, like a 6x6 tile block, which will allow you to have a total of 8 2x2 buildings in there, and then a 4 space emptiness in the middle that you can use to drop a like whatever, you know, some gardens or wells, because the wells don't need any road access whatsoever. But the wells are not terribly desirable. I think they can bring down the desirability of an area. If we check our overseers of workers. No, we can't get that? Really? So that's the overseers button. Does it stay on the screen? No, it does not. Oh, that's too bad. So which overseers do I have? Population history. Diversions. 4 stages. Only 3 shows going on right now. Do I not have enough stuff? We do have perfect coverage, which is good. And then the religion thing. Oh, we could hold a festival. That's fun. So the festival, yeah, see, like, this is what I love about these games, especially, I don't remember if Caesar was the same way, but especially the Europe one. If I recall correctly, the Europe one is just the one that's got this. Or, Europe. Egypt. Words. If I were to drag out a road over here, well, this might be a silly place to do it. Actually, I don't really have a good place to do it because of how I built my city. But let's say, there, let me put out an intersection over here. And then in the religious things, I can put down a festival square. This is $500, but I have lots of money now. We can plop this bad boy down. Look how pretty that is, right? So you build your city around these things. Now the festival square actually serves a purpose in that I can hold a festival now, which will make the gods happy. People feel bored and overworked. There we go. So we'll hold a festival. We can only hold one to Bast in here because I think that's the only temple we have. And we get to choose what level of festival we do. Now, the Grand Festival needs 200 units of something. I actually don't know what that symbol is. But we probably don't have it anyway. So we'll do a lavish festival. It'll cost us $78. Boom. So they're preparing the festival for June. It's currently March. So yeah, they're going to build it. And there we go. So our cottages are growing. What else do people want? Supply of food from the bazaar. This bazaar's got plenty of food, so we're mostly waiting for the bazaars to drop off. I think we might want more. And part of it may have to do with, like, just the way our road structure is. Here, we'll set up another one over here. It'll just encourage more coverage. What do the bazaar workers look like? I don't even remember. Oh, they were like ladies in big green dresses, weren't they? Oh, see, this lady here. No, I misclicked, but... What is this? Oh, gold mines I don't like.
My supplies sold like hotcakes.
Yeah,
I'm going
she's
back
out
to
of
the
goods.
bazaar for more.
And now she just passed by the bazaar, so she went back in. She should pop out again with more goods. There she is.
I do my best to give the people what they
So she's
want.
carrying some food around. And as she passes by these houses, they will get more food. And hopefully things keep increasing. Oh, no access to religious facilities way over here. Our religious walkers may need, may need a little bit. Actually, if we want more desirability, we can do that by putting down some shrines. This won't actually count, again, as religious access, but should increase desirability. Do we have a thing for that? Problems want to risk entertainment. Education, health. Oh. Hey, Canways. Canwayas. Thank you for subscribing. I can't see your name, but thank you. See, these people are not getting any food whatsoever. So they're mostly walking along the outside. There's a, I think that's a bizarre person, but they're probably out of goods. So yeah, we can watch them. Do they have like a trail? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, they just grabbed some stuff from the bazaar, or from the granary. That's what happened there. They picked up a new load of food, and then they should wander around. There we go. Her there. They should pop up some of these little bits. Oh, maybe huts always scavenge for their own food? That might be true. Huts may not need bazaar access. Okay. Hey, we started our lavish festival. Let's go and watch. So all the people will go over there. We've got some extra jugglers that are going to the square to be entertaining and just have a big party. Let's take a look at the desirability, because that's what we really need to increase. Desirability is crap everywhere. It's better here. The problem is I don't think we've got any beautification things. We just set up a bunch more booths. No, but we are getting more and more cottages. So I think this scenario, we mostly just have to sit back and wait for the food to be distributed properly. And I think that's the big problem here. Local conditions are improving. Yeah, okay, now they're leveling up. I think the food was a big part of it. Victory. All right. So now, if I recall correctly, this is going to be the first scenario, the Precarious Nile, where we are going to do some farming. Now we need a population of 600, 10 modest homesteads, and we need to fill a granary with figs. So, there we go. So this is just after the flood that I talked about. So what we want to do, as quickly as possible, and here we can't hunt ostriches, we just have to do fig farming. So I'm going to set up a set of fig farms, sort of packed in as tightly as I can. I'll put a space in here, actually, and go down that way. And get started with the road. Connects there. Oh, that's terribly inconvenient. Hang on. Wasting a tiny little bit of money, but not really enough to matter. That. There we go. Okay. Just looking for having a couple of different access routes. And we're going to pop that out. Now, we need housing once again. So what I'm going to do this time around is I will set up... Not what I wanted to do. I'll set up something like this. For my housing. Not like that. Hang on. I'm being stupid. I gotta set up a double space. Like that. There we are. And then the same on the other side. No, not the same on the other side. Cancel. No. Don't do that. Just stop building what I was doing. Then I'm going to put services in the middle. I'm going to have one strip of services. That's going to be a double wide. Right, 1, 2. So the third step over here. So we can have bazaars and things in the middle. And then we're going to have another row of houses on the other side. Although, there's still the chance that only one side will be serviced. That's true. Well, we'll figure it out. Alright, basic housing. But we need work camps as well. So people will live in their huts, they will assemble at the work camps, and then when the season is right for farming, they will go and farm. I'm going to put another work camp right there. When the season is right for farming, they will go and farm. When the river is flooded, they will actually work on monuments and things like that if available. They will help you build pyramids, for example. These work camps train generic laborers is what happens. And we'll set up another block of housing on this side, after all. Like that. So each one of these work camps can service somewhere in between 4 to 6 farms. So we will set up some more fig farms. They have to be relatively close for the workers to actually be able to get places. And the hard part in this is always like finding a way to jam in enough farms in your area. And like many times I have started and been like, oh my god, this placement is not as efficient as it possibly could, and I'm wasting, you know, 2 possible new farm locations. Oh well, anyway, I think right now we'd be able to mostly work these, given our situation. We'll probably want a 3rd work camp and another set of farms at some point, just for maximum efficiency. Now, these farms here, you see these fig farms are 79% fertile, whereas this one here is 98% fertile. Because the river sometimes doesn't flood as much, so the ones that are closer to town sometimes don't farm quite as well. On the other hand, they get workers a lot faster. These over here is the long walk for workers to actually get there. Actually, I'm realizing I could eliminate that and fit in another fig farm over here. Now, it does mean that these 5 fig farms, well, yeah, are only serviced by this camp, and these 4 are only serviced by this one. This one can sort of be serviced by either one. But I think that'll work out okay. More immigrants are coming. Now, what we need is a granary so that they can deliver their goods. Again, reduces desirability. I'll put it here. It's slightly further away from things and gives us a little room for, well, clearly we need a firehouse. We'll put one here, one over there. And we know we need the architects as well, obviously, or things will just collapse on us non-stop. I'll put it here, and then that'll be a good place for a booth. We'll go and set up our juggler school as well. Put it in right there. Get that started right away. And once we've got food in the granary, so yeah, the huts will feed themselves. They just go looking for their own food. But to upgrade, I mean, they'll upgrade when the desirability gets better. And then after that, they will need a bazaar worker to come by and give them stuff. Oh, we could also use some water supply. That will also keep down the fire risk, of course. So I will put a well over here. And just for the sake of things, we're going to put a little police station just in that little bit right there. So we will have some crime reduction. I don't know if crime will be a problem in this scenario. We'll get resolved. So I love how the farming process goes. They spend the first amount of time like throwing out some seeds, and then they're tilling the soil, and then they will all collect things and try to deliver it to the granary. In fact, I suspect we may not have enough room in one granary for this. Maybe with what we've got, one will be enough, but we will very soon need 2. Yeah, build granaries to store the... I'm going to go ahead and build the second one right away. And it's a little out of the way. I'm going to build it way, way down here, because we're going to want to expand probably our farming down here at some point. So they should prioritize the close ones. Some may take the trip all the way over here. We'll deal with that when we get there. Got water. What have we forgotten? We don't have a palace yet, and it would be nice to collect some taxes. Plus, this will make the area look a little prettier. And it fits in... Whoops, I don't know what I just got rid of. What message is that? Employees needed. Too few people. All right. Well, we are getting more immigrants, so that's okay. But we might want to build more housing. Oh, there we go. All the figs are coming. Figs. 1, 2, like that. 1, 2, like that. Like that. There we go, just to make sure we've got plenty of people. We'll see if any of them go to the far granary. It doesn't look like it. Oh, industry. Now that you've given your people basic food and water, you can enhance their lifestyle with other goods such as pottery. So we can build clay pits. It has to be relatively close to water. And then ideally you get a potter nearby, and then they need labor, and they will deliver clay to the potter, and then you get a storage yard to store the pottery. And the bazaar people will deliver pottery while they also deliver food. And to get to a certain building level, we will need pottery to make people happy. Now, I believe the clay pits, people don't like to live near them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a road like that, with the idea that maybe we'll do some more farming later on. And then we are going to clay pit here, here, and here. We're going to get a trio. I think there's roughly a 1-to-1 ratio between clay pits and potters, but I'm not completely sure. I'll set up a trio of potters over there. And yeah, they will need a storage yard. They can hold an overflow of clay here as well. So if for some reason we don't end up with the right number of things, if we need more potters, we'll end up with a stockpile of clay sitting around here at some point. And that should be close enough to get some labor. I'm tempted to build some housings somewhere over here. Actually, what I should do is get both an architect's post. Uh-oh, fire. Okay. Architect's post and a firehouse over here. Yeah, they're probably not getting enough water coverage. Yeah, at this point, we are going to need another water carrier. And I'm going to put it right in the middle here. And we might actually need another fireman as well. Yeah, actually, I think that would be very, very good. Another firehouse and another architect's post at this end of town. Good. City needs more workers. Well, I believe we're still getting immigrants. But I'm not opposed to doing that. God damn. More fire. Yeah, they were not getting the right amount of water coverage. Get out of my way. People already eat more food than they produce. Well, I don't know. I think we'll be okay. Especially when the waters recede again, I'll probably get another work camp set up over here and another set of farms. Sucks that the work camp won't be right on the edge, but it'll be pretty close. Work camp here. Road straight out. And farm. Fig farm. I'm going to have to leave one gap probably for a road. Actually, I've changed my mind. We're not going to need any more stuff. And you can't build anything but farms down here on the flat area, because obviously it would flood. Let's go as far as possible for maximum fertility. Okay, doesn't matter. So hopefully that one work camp should be able to work these 3 spots. Need more workers. That should happen on its own. But let's go ahead and set up a block of houses over here, and we'll get another bazaar going on for these folks. Something like that. Okay, and then our goal was 10 modest homesteads and a population of 600. I think we'll hit the population pretty easily. We're almost at 500 already, and we put out some more houses. Yeah, we're going to have lots and lots of housing. So it's mostly a question of getting people to happy satisfaction, which I think will mean another bazaar. I don't even remember where I've got one here. Do I have one? I don't know that I do. What? No, because it was all supposed to be built in the middle here. Okay, well, we're going to drop down a pair of them. Hopefully get some nice distribution of goods. Still got plenty of food, and we're in the farming season again. In fact, I think we're going to need another granary. So I'm going to do that. Drop it over here. There. Now we're going to get plenty of storage. And we're probably going to have enough food stockpile to last ages. Enough food for 24 months already, so that's good. Hey, what we don't have is any religion yet. So let's go. We can get temples to Osiris, and he loves, like, he's the river god, I think. Where do we want this? Something like that? Would that make sense? Would that be silly? No, I like it. And then we're out of money. Standard operating procedure for me. We'll get that, so then both ends of town should get relatively well serviced by that. We could set up a festival, a square, but I don't think that'll be required. We've got our culture rating at 10, which I think is as high as you can go with just the jugglers. It might go a little higher with the religion, though. We'll see how that goes. Kingdom rating's not super high. None of that really matters in this scenario, but there will be a scenario very soon, I'm sure, that will teach us about kingdom ratings and why it's important and how to achieve higher scores there. Alright, so this bazaar is here awaiting food. Okay, so they're going to pick up food from the granary. There we go. You can see the big trail of people. Hello, Catnip Addict! Are you secretly a cat? That's silly. Everyone knows there's no cats on the internet. Why would there be cats on the internet? But thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so people are joining in and asking questions about this versus Caesar versus Zeus. All developed by the same people. And Children of the Nile as well. And one more that's in, like, Japan or China. I can't remember which, and I feel bad. I think it's Chinese. One of these town management games, which I have not played yet, and I really should. It's one of their more recent ones. I think it was made in, like, 2003, so it's still pretty old. Oh, now we can prettify things! Yay! Gardens, statues, and plazas. So beautifications just will increase desirability. By making the area surrounding them more attractive, garden statues and plazas can help houses to evolve. Several garden plots can be placed next to each other to form larger parks, which is cool. Placed plazas on paved roads to enhance their appearance and improve the desirability, which is my favorite thing. It also talks about roadblocks, which I discussed before. They also do introduce water crossings here, which allow you to go to the other side of the river, which I don't think will be required for us in this scenario, but if we wanted to expand over here, we could. Look at that, hippos! They have hippos! Hippos are super dangerous. I know they look like cute and adorable and like innocent. They're like incredibly dangerous and will completely murderify you if you give them a chance. So yeah, plazas are cool because any of these sort of paved roads over here, which happened organically, you can't force it, you can plaza them over, which makes things prettier. If we let this process a tick, we should see the desirability in this area skyrocket. Let's just wait and see what happens. Yeah, see, it's definitely higher here. Now, it may have already been somewhat higher because of the palace being around, which I think increases desirability, but that will help. Then let's get in garden. So you can make one-tile gardens. Like right here, we'll put a one-tile garden. And then here, we can make a four-tile garden. Look at that! They make awesome gardens! Look how great that is! I love that. We get like, look at this. So, I mean, I guess 3 by 3. So you get 1 by 1, 2 by 2s, 3 by 3s. But they all look different. Can I not just cancel out by hitting the right mouse button? It's not space. No. Well, alright, I guess we're building that. And then what was left? Oh, statues. Right, so you get small statues. So these little pharaoh heads. Put one in there. I think, are they all the same? There might be a way to change which statues are built. I'm not sure about that. Medium statues. Let's get one of those over there. And then large statues. They're getting pretty expensive, but they're awfully nice. There's got to be a way to rotate them or something like that. Whoops. R button. While you hold down the button, a choice of 4 statues will be presented, and they will rotate. Okay, let's try this again, just to see. Medium statue. Okay. Oh, I was building here. What you doing? Yeah, so it'll toggle between the 4 statues, and if you keep hitting it, it'll rotate 1 step, toggle. So you can make beautiful cities. All right, let's go to the next mission. And actually, I'm going to take a brief break here for bio, and we'll be back in a minute.